One thing that I did not know at all was that no one knew who the designer of the NWO logo was for nearly 30 years. No one knew who the exact person was. The narrative that has been given so many times is that it was Disney, or it was Disney MGM Studios, and I never really thought more about it than that. But when I was interviewing Neil Pruitt, who was one of the producers of WCW at the time, while we were talking, he was like, "You should really see if you can find the person who designed the logo." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean by that?" Like, I didn't know that person was like missing.
Mhm.
So that became like my goal. That became like, all right, I need to find this person somehow. And I did. It took me a few weeks and a lot of reporting and a lot of like, cold calling people that thought I was probably crazy. But
Mhm.
I eventually did find out who she was, and she's a real estate agent now in Winter Park, Florida, and she had no idea really that the NWO blew up to such an extent, and then it was her logo that did it. But just a cool part of history that had been missing. And I'm glad that she's kind of like now sort of getting credit for doing that back then. She was just like a 27-year-old, woman working at a post-production office at Disney MGM Studios in
Mhm.
Orlando. But yeah, just one of those things that was like lost to time. And, I was able to piece things together and find her.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's kind of crazy that she just kind of did that as like it was just like a quick thing that she threw together,
Yeah.
and she never even got paid for it, right?
Yeah, she was just doing her regular job. It was just a random day, right? Just like anyone else, just at the office. You get assignments during the day, you do them, and you move on to the next thing. And that's kind of what the NWO logo was for her. For all of us as wrestling fans, that is an iconic logo. It means so much to so many people. And for her, it was just like, all right, just one thing that I did on Tuesday, and then I moved on to the
Yeah.
next thing.
There was a similar thing that happened with ACDC, right? So the guy got the guy who designed the ACDC logo that's on everything did it for like he was part of some he was like an art department or whatever, and he did it for like a one time like super small commission, and now that logo is everywhere. I mean, at least he got paid something for it. But it's crazy that she probably could take that up legally if she wanted to make a few bucks after the
The
fact,
first
you
thing
know.
that she asked me, PJ, was like, she was like, "So how many T-shirts did they sell of this logo?" I'm like, Jenny, you don't want to know the answer to that question. It's gonna make
Right.
you feel very bad.